I faced many hurdles and obstacles before getting my GED. I was on the waiting list for 5 years on an 8-year sentence before I could take the GED classes. It took me just 6 months to prepare for the GED, and I passed it on the first try. I used to have to wait on guys to get in trouble or transferred so it could open up a spot for me. Before I got my GED, I was agitated and mad because there were so many things that I knew I was capable of doing, but I couldn't because of the policy set in place that wouldn't allow inmates to move around. Living in the penitentiary is hard because you're cut off from the people who make policies and rules about us. If you were put on lockdown, we couldn't even ask questions. They took so much from us, and I knew something wasn't right. Programs kept getting cut, taken away from us. We used to get GEDs, associates, and even bachelor's degrees, and trade classes was offered to us as well at one point. There were rumors about private prisons coming in and taking over, and that's when we spent the majority of our time in our cells. Often we were in our cells for 23 hours a day, rather than working on things that could help us once we were released. Sitting in the cell for that long time a period, I knew enough was enough, and I was committed to doing whatever it took to get my GED. Once I was able to get inside the GED class, I felt a sense of urgency and happiness, because I knew it could, and I knew it would take me so far in life. I knew that with my GED, I have a better chance than the previous times I was incarcerated. Considering my demographics, I knew that the GED would make the difference, and I wanted it with a passion. I studied 6 to 7 hours a day, non-stop, waiting on the day to take the GED. When the day came, I was nervous, but I passed it, the highest in my class. This was a big move for me. I never had accomplished anything like this before while being incarcerated. I felt like it was the greatest accomplishment, and I knew that if I got my GED, others can get their GED as well. And I want this for everybody that's incarcerated. Inmates want and need their education. When inmates aren't rehabilitated with education like I was, there is a high chance of going back. And when someone recidivates, only a small group of people profit from that. That's the IDOC people with contracts, not the taxpayers. The GED and the IDOC bill will give people with criminal records a fighting chance at being successful and feeling good about themselves, and not just sitting in the cell 23 hours a day. While people profit off of each inmate, we could begin to have a sense of pride and feel equal rather than feeling like a second-class citizen. When people don't return to prison, it keeps money out of the for-profit prison industry complex. When returning citizens get jobs, they pay income taxes, they buy stuff, all this money goes back into the economy rather than causing the state and the taxpayers for reincarceration. Right now, the Illinois Department of Corrections provides people with just a 6th grade education. Currently, about 21,000 inmates need their GED or high school diploma, but only 2,000 inmates are participating in the GED program. What are those 19,000 people doing when they get released, or while they're sitting in their cell 23 hours a day without any kind of programming?
Frankly, we talk about the Department of Corrections. We need to think about what correction means. Correction is the act of making something better. And frankly, denying folks who are in our correctional facilities access to education, access to treatment, access to rehabilitation is the opposite of that. We should be focusing our resources on the things that are going to make the people under our care better, so that they can, as Vince said, become productive tax-paying citizens. I've said many times, a barrier to reentry is a path to recidivism. Chuck and the folks here at Howard Area Community Center do amazing work, and I love the partnership that we share in this mission. I want to thank my colleague, State Representative Robin Gable, for joining us in this effort. But fundamentally, any penny we spend towards programming within our facilities that make people better, not only saves money, it will, as Vince said, make the state money. We need to allow our returning citizens to become productive members of our community. It will make us safer, it will make us better, it will make us more whole. And so I look forward to working with the Department of Corrections to turn that department into something whose mission is dedicated to the act of making something better. Thank you all for being here today.